So there I was, standing in the middle of the Azure Lily Academy Plaza, when the system slapped a giant glowing bar over my head and announced to my soul, and apparently to nobody else, assimilation, 4%. 4% of what, you ask? Let me back up 30 seconds, because the betrayal comes first. It always comes first. I'm Kang Tae. Well, I was Kang Tae. A completely normal 30-year-old man from a completely normal world where men are, allowed to open their own water bottles. One stressful commute home, the sky turned blood red, everybody vanished, and I woke up in the body of a pretty college boy named Rin in a world that is, and I cannot stress this enough, upside down. Women here are taller, stronger. They run the companies, the government, the gangs, and men are the decorative gender. They wear lace, learn skincare routines, and wait, passively, demurely, for a powerful woman to choose them. The ideal man in this world faints at conflict and blushes at eye contact, and I woke up mid-dumping. Standing in front of me was Sarion, Rin's girlfriend, an heiress with a jaw you could cut glass on, and the manners of a woman who's never been told no. She'd gathered a crowd, of course she had. In this genre, the public humiliation is the point. Rin, she said, loud enough for the melon eaters in the back, I'm ending this. You're too soft, too clingy. A real trophy husband knows his place. And you? She flicked my collar. Embarrass me. Behind her giggling was the new accessory, some doe-eyed house husband in training named Yuha, who did a little victim lotus pout and whispered, Sarion, don't be too hard on him, which is White Lotus speak for twist the knife but make it cute. The crowd waited for Rin to cry. That's what the old Rin did. That's what men here do. I said, cool, we're done. Can I go? I have a water bottle to open. Record scratch. The plaza went dead silent. That's when the bar appeared. Assimilation, 4%. And a voice like a bored goddess purred in my skull. Welcome, little transported thing. This world remakes men in its image. Every day you flinch, submit, and behave like the men here, the meter rises. Reach 100% and your body finishes the change. You become a woman of this world, permanently, memories and all, and you never go home. Act like the man you swear you are, and the meter falls. Get it to 0 and hold it, and the door home opens. Oh, and I made it visible. To you. Only you. Enjoy. Great. Fantastic. I have a doomsday clock stapled to my forehead, and it only accepts one currency. Being a man in a world that treats that like a felony. Let me tell you something, though. My mother didn't raise a quitter. She raised a guy who benches. Watch this. I turned to leave the plaza and, ding, assimilation, 4%, 3%. Walking away from a public dumping without begging? The system counted it as spine. First withdrawal cleared. The account likes me already. But here's the trap I didn't see yet, and neither did the crowd. Sarion's smug little face twitched. In her head, and yeah, I get to narrate her head recap rules, she was thinking, why isn't he crying? Rin always cries. This is my scene. Get back in your box, decoration. She grabbed my wrist. In this world, a strong woman grabbing your wrist is checkmate. You're supposed to wilt. Where do you think you're going? I decide when we're done. Old Rin's body was weak as wet paper. Her grip actually hurt. And the meter shivered. I could feel it wanting to tick up, because submitting to a dominant woman's physical authority is the single most man-of-this-world thing you can do. So I did the math in about half a second. I couldn't outmuscle her. But the meter doesn't measure muscle, it measures bearing. I looked down at her hand, then up at her. And with the flattest voice in 9 dimensions I said, you're holding the wrist of a man who's already gone. Let go, or embarrass yourself squeezing something that doesn't want you. Gasp. The chorus lost its mind. Did the decoration just talk back? To Sarion? Is he suicidal? Socially, I mean. I've never seen a man make eye contact for this long. Assimilation, 3%, 2%. Sarion let go like my wrist was hot. Not because she was scared, because for one full second, a man had outpostured her, and her body reacted before her pride could veto it. Yuha's little lotus mask slipped into a genuine, huh? And across the plaza, leaning against a black Rolls-Royce Cullinan the size of a small nation, someone had been watching the whole thing. Her name, I'd learn in about 90 seconds, was Ha Yuri. CEO of Baco Group, richest woman in Cloud City, feared by boardrooms and street gangs alike, the kind of apex predator villainess this genre runs on, cold to the entire world. Publicly, she'd end your family's company for looking at her wrong. She'd stopped her car in the middle of the road to watch a nobody college boy stare down an heiress. And she was smiling, which her secretary later told me she had not done, on the record, in 4 years. She rolled down the window. "You," she said, pointing at me. "Say that thing again." The already gone line. I was still riding adrenaline and a 2% meter, so I said, "I don't do encores for people who interrupt my exit." Her secretary in the passenger seat physically dropped her tablet, in her head. "He's dead. That's a dead man." Nobody talks to Madame Yuri like, "Why is Madame Yuri laughing?" Yuri laughed. "A real one. Get in. I'll drive you wherever you were storming off to." I was storming off to a convenience store. Then I'll buy the convenience store. Assimilation, 2%, holding steady. Not because getting into a rich woman's car is manly or unmanly, but because, and the system flagged this in tiny letters, I hadn't submitted. I'd been invited, and I'd made her wait. Turns out the meter doesn't hate women. It hates me being small. Filed that away. Very important later. I got in the car. Yuri looked at me the way Sarion never had. Like I was a person, not a purse. "You're different," she said. "You look at me like you're not afraid." Lady, I thought. I have a countdown to womanhood floating over my head and 30 days to zero it out. Fear is a luxury I literally cannot afford. Out loud, "Just drive, boss." Her eye twitched at boss. In a good way. Noted. That night I sat in Rin's frilly, lace-curtained bedroom. The previous owner had taste, I'll give him that. And I did what any man with a doomsday forehead does. I made a spreadsheet. Rules of the meter, observed. Submitting, flinching, wilting, begging, playing cute victim, meter up. Standing straight, holding my ground, keeping my bearing, doing an honest hard thing, meter down. It is not about dominating women. Test case. I said thank you sincerely to the doorman for holding a heavy door. Meter didn't move. Kindness is allowed. Spine is the currency, not cruelty. I'm not trying to become a jerk. I'm trying to go home. Physical weakness is killing me. This body can't open a bottle. If a real fight comes and I fold, that's a huge spike. I need to train. Fast. The plan. Get strong. Real gym, real food. This world thinks men eating protein is scandalous. I don't care. Keep my bearing in public even when it terrifies everyone. Do not, under any circumstances, let Sarion or that Lotus Boy Yuha bait me into a submit spike. Zero the meter. Go home. Open every bottle I want. Assimilation, 2%. 28 days on the clock. I cracked my knuckles. Or tried to. This body couldn't even do that. Cosmic. Let's go. Day 3. The Academy Gym. Women's iron, because there is no men's section. Because men here don't lift. I walked in and the whole room froze like I'd wandered into the wrong dimension. Which, technically. A gym captain named Bora, biceps like bridge cables, blocked me. Cute boys lost, yoga's next door, little pink mats. Very you, the chorus ever present, a man? In the iron room? He's going to hurt his delicate hands. Someone protect him before he cries. I felt the meter lean upward. This was a submit or stand fork, and the whole room expected the man to giggle and retreat. I picked up a bar. A light one, let's be honest, this body was a disaster. But I picked it up, looked Bora dead in the eye, and did the reps. Slow. Ugly. My arms shook like a wet chihuahua. It was, athletically, pathetic. But I didn't put it down and I didn't look away. Assimilation, 2%, 1%. Bora stared. In her head, he's terrible at this. Awful form, barely moving the empty bar. So why does it feel like I'm the one being watched? Out loud, quieter than she meant. You're going to snap a tendon, decoration. Then I'll snap it standing up, I said, and racked the bar. Somebody in the corner filmed it. Of course they did. By nightfall the clip was trending across Cloud City with the caption, "The Man Who Lifts," which sounds like nothing to you and me but in this world was roughly as scandalous as a live-streamed bank heist. And in a glass tower across the skyline, Yuri watched the clip on a wall-sized monitor, chin in her hand, and murmured to her suspended, sweating secretary, "Find out everything about him. And clear my Thursday. Here's where it gets good, because the meter had a second rule I hadn't found yet, and Sarion was about to find it for me. Day 5. Sarion, humiliated by the plaza clip and the gym clip and the fact that her ex was now more famous than her, decided to reclaim the narrative the way arrogant people always do. Bigger, dumber, and in public. She cornered me in the academy atrium with Yuha and a crowd she'd basically catered. Rin, she announced, I've reconsidered. I'll take you back. Kneel, apologize for embarrassing me, and all is forgiven. This was, by every social rule of this world, a gift. A powerful woman offering to recollect her discarded man. The expected move, the only move for a man here, was to kneel, weep with gratitude and thank her, and I felt it. The meter didn't just lean this time. It surged toward the top. Kneeling here would be the single biggest assimilation spike I'd seen. One clean bow and I might jump 10%. The system was basically vibrating. Do it, the world whispered. Be the man we made. Everybody waited for me to fold. I laughed instead. Saryon. You dumped me in front of 200 people because I embarrass you. Now I'm trending and you want a redo? I stepped closer, toward the powerful woman, which no man here does, and lowered my voice just for her. You don't want me back. You want your scene back. I'm keeping it. Dead. Silence. Then the chorus detonated. He said no. To a take-back offer? He walked toward her. I need to sit down. Is he the strongest man alive or the dumbest? Assimilation. 1%, 0%. 0. I hit 0. The bar over my head flashed and the goddess's voice sang delighted. Oh, clever thing. Refusing submission when submission is offered as a gift? That's the deepest spine of all. Hold 0 for the countdown and you go home. But Saryon, oh, Saryon. In her head, as the whole atrium watched her offer get declined by decoration, this isn't happening. This isn't, he's supposed to be grateful. Why does everyone look at him? Why do I feel small? She burst into tears. Real ones. And in this world a crying heiress is a summons. Her mother, a terrifying matriarch, would hear about this by dinner. The cascade was starting. The betrayer was going to burn, slow and public, exactly on schedule. Yuha the lotus boy tugged my sleeve with his best wounded fawn face. You made her cry. That's so cruel of. I made her hear the word no, I said. First time apparently. Cry about that. Assimilation. 0%. Held. I walked out of the atrium a free man with an empty meter and a countdown to freedom. And, of course, the black Cullinan was idling at the curb. Yuri leaned out. Having watched the whole thing on a live feed, her secretary swore she didn't request. You refused an heiress twice in 1 week, she said. Do you have a death wish or a spine? Yes, I said, and got in the car uninvited, which made her secretary make a sound like a stepped-on cat. Yuri grinned. The second real smile in 4 years. Her secretary would later note in what I'm pretty sure is a diary. I've decided, she said. I'm going to figure you out, little wolf cub. You're not like the men here. You look at me like you already know how the story ends. I glanced up at the invisible bar only I could see. 0%. 23 days. Lady, I thought, if you only knew. I'm not from your story at all. And I'm counting down to the exit, out loud. Just drive, boss, and keep your Thursday clear. I have a lot of bottles to open before this is over, and so the meter sat at 0, the countdown ticking down toward the door home, an heiress crying her way into her own downfall, and the scariest woman in Cloud City deciding a nobody college boy was the most interesting thing she'd seen in years. I'll leave a like on this whole cursed world, 'cause we ran out of chapters, and turn on the little bell, because next arc, Saryon's mother arrives, Yuri clears more than her Thursday, and our boy finds out holding 0 is a whole lot harder than hitting it. Thank you for reading, brothers. Catch you in the next.